So hey chicks, let's chat. So let me jump right into it. Why is it that it seems like the good guys are often overlooked, right? Since the beginning of time, it seems like there has been an affinity, if you will, for women liking the bad guy, right? Even when sometimes they have a choice of actually having a good guy, sometimes they just go with the bad guy. And that's what everybody want to know. Like, what's the deal with that? Like, why do good guys finish last? Seemingly, right? What is even the draw? Because a lot of times, for example, you may have a woman, she's top tier, good girl, good woman, and she ends up with an obviously bad guy. Like, everybody knew out the gate that they didn't match, that situation wasn't gonna work. And yet nobody can figure out, why would she even take the time? Like, why would she even risk anything by dealing with that guy? Like, isn't it obvious that the situation was gonna crash and burn? Well, here's the thing. A lot of times when a woman is raised a certain way, and then she meets a guy that she happens to be physically attracted to, and even though this guy is everything that her parents told her not to be and to avoid, because he's nice to her, and she sees a different side of his personality, and she's physically attracted to him, then she naturally is drawn into him. And then she starts to think that maybe this guy is going to be different, or at least slightly different than the guy that my parents whoever warned me about, right? So she starts to think that this is the case where she's looked up and found that one that, although he is dressed up like this on the outside, he's very much different on the inside, right? And that's not to say that that's never the case, right? But really what she's realizing is that even though he's a bad guy, there's some good to him. So that's everybody. So that's not like, oh, she's found the one guy that he's not exactly like they describe. No, it's good and it's bad in everybody. You could be the roughest, toughest hitter, as they call them, and then you can just have a gentle spot for women, or for that particular woman. You may be nothing to mess with in the streets, but you just gentle and loving with that woman. And that's the side that she sees, and that's the side that attracted her to you, even though everything about your lifestyle goes against her lifestyle, right? And I think that's the side that sometimes people don't understand and people don't see, and it seems like guys who are straight-laced, a lot of times, they're obviously the good guy. Like, on paper, they look good. They're the person that a woman's dad would want her to link up with, and she just don't see him. She just oblivious to him. Like, it's just a no for her, and it's like, okay, well, why is that? Well, a lot of times when a woman meets a guy and she doesn't necessarily click with him out the gate, usually it's because he's showing up either a little corny, or it's just something that she's not feeling, right? And he could be well dressed, he could be nice looking, he could be well spoken, but sometimes it just doesn't do it for her. He has all the things lined up and it just doesn't do it for her, right? And depending on the woman, right? And actually, we're gonna talk about me. For instance, times when I have met guys that were like straight-laced, like, and I was like, yeah, he's nice, he's sweet, I appreciate all that, I'm gonna be nice to him like he's nice to me. But it's a little bit of something that he's missing for me to gravitate to it, right? And a lot of times I think what that is it's a little bit of edginess, right? And when a guy has maybe came up in a certain way, he didn't come up in the streets, and maybe he did come up in a two-parent loving household, and he doesn't have that many adverse childhood effects. He's missing that little edginess to him a lot of times, so it may show up to you like he's corny, you know. But no, baby, really what it comes down to is that he doesn't have the trauma that you're usually used to seeing in guys. That's what he's missing. That little edginess, that little tough, don't want to quite show your feelings, that little mystique that a lot of times we're drawn to. That's what it is. See, he was fortunate enough not to be surrounded by dope boys or dope girls, you know, when he was growing up. You know, his household consists of seeing either a mom be able to stay at home and dad fully take care of the house, or two parents who were, you know, able to still work but yet invest and come to his games or come to his tournaments or whatever it was, still be able to indulge and to put into his life so that they could produce a fully functioning adult that does not come with all this trauma. So when he shows up in life to a woman, even though he's beautiful to look at on the outside, he has everything that you would want a man to have. Don't mind working, good job, speaks well. He has all of that. But then you don't find yourself attracted to him. It's because you don't have anything to trauma bond with when it comes to him. That's what it is. You have been through so much in your life that it makes it hard sometimes for you to connect to a guy who is not coming with all of that, right? And that's when you haven't did the work and you haven't healed from the trauma that you have experienced, right? So, like they say, a lot of times when you waiting on a mate or whatever, sometimes it really is a situation where God is either preparing that guy for you, or God is preparing you for that guy. He giving you time to get your stuff together so that when this man presents, you don't feel like, he's corny, because he's missing that little edge that you're so used to having when you meet guys. Because most of the guys that you have met or been attracted to, they had that edge. Why? Because they didn't grow up with no daddy. Because they grew up with a mama that worked a whole lot. And so even though he needed extra attention, he didn't necessarily get it until he was acting out or doing something he ain't had no business doing. Then mama had no other option but to fully focus on him, right? You used to dealing with guys who, you know, they didn't have a stable dad in the house, so they got a plethora of baby mamas, a plethora of children here, there, everywhere. So of course they got a little edginess, a little aggression, a little, you know, chip on their shoulder that you may think that, hey, you know just how to work those kinks out, you know. So of course those become the type of guys that you're naturally drawn to. Why? Because you can relate to them. You feel like you can relate to them, you know. And that's not to say that after you do the healing, that you can no longer relate to certain people. But when you're trying to get paired with a guy, it seems like a lot of times when those guys are not showing up in the way that you're used to a guy showing up, then the attraction is not there, or the level of attraction is not there for him, because he's showing up as the good guy. And that's just something that you have not really been accustomed to dealing with, right? Not saying that the guys that you were dealing with were just bad guys, but they were probably unhealed, hurt, have so much stuff to unpack, and you probably was the same way. So y'all naturally kind of gelled until you did, right? So I just think that that's the you know, basically the age-old answer to why good guys seem to finish last, because just a lot of times it's the healing that a woman needs to do, and she has to have done that before this guy presents himself to her. So that's not to, I don't want to discourage a good guy from being a good guy. Like, if you're a good guy or you're a good woman, continue to show up as that person that you are. You don't have to tweak anything. Once you know that you that person, you her, you him, it's just a matter of meeting a person who is in position to receive you as such, right? The thing that you're doing wrong is you're attracted to the girl based on her physicality. But when it comes to her emotional stability and her mental stability and her past traumas and stuff, she's not probably healed in that way. And that's why you're not that, you don't do it for her. And that's the reality. That's I feel like that's my truth. You know what I'm saying? That's my truth. Because just as many negatives I've had just as many positives. And it was a time when you could line them same jokers up. They could be equally as physically attractive to me. And I'm just going to go with the one with a little more edge. Just because in my mind, I can relate to him more. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll have more to talk about. We could talk about. And it's crazy, even when I'm talking about this now, because that's the type of stuff that I don't even care to talk about no more. But if I had met a guy in my day and we couldn't talk about, street stuff, what was going on, who was the last person got killed, who funeral you went to, if I knew they couldn't really rap with me on about that, like, I'm gonna probably just friend zone you. I might talk to you. I might even talk to you every night on the phone, but it's just going nowhere. And that's crazy, because fast forward, when you been doing work, getting past the foolishness that you was on for many moons, you like, don't even come talking to me about that foolishness. I have had enough of that in my life. I don't care if the funeral was packed from the ceiling to the floor. You hear me? I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? Did he have his life right with God? Because at the end of the day, that's all really that matters. I don't care how many horse and carriages they had. They could have had 20 of them lined up. I do not care about none of that. What was his character like? You know what I'm saying? Like, and unless we just sure enough happen to have something really in common, I ain't even want you going to the funeral. Like, I'm so over that hood, foolish, crazy type stuff. Like, who cares? Like, but ain't have his life right. Too bad, so sad. It's over now, ain't it? He sure got some things he got to answer for, But so yeah, I said all that just to give some guys, just be encouraged. Like, when you're a good guy, stay the course, And women, oh my goodness, y'all stay the course too, because I have seen some good women turn bad because of the guys that they were attracted to. I seen good girls, like, man, like, you didn't do nothing. You wasn't even a fighter coming up. You didn't do nothing. Now you strung out on drugs, girl. You look bad, girl. Like, all because you took a turn for the worse. When you started liking guys that was a different caliber of who you were. You became who they were. And it don't look good on you. And that's the sad part. I'm like, man, she used to be a cute little girl. Oh, okay. Show me who you dealing with. And I'll be able to tell you why you have went down or why you have came up. Because a lot of times, you could come up based on who you dealing with too. And with women, like, listen, if you don't see yourself coming up with the person that you're dealing with, you might want to get by yourself, because you might be able to come up like that. Listen, and that's something my old boy told me. He was like, if the man that you're dealing with ain't making your life better, that's not the person you need to be dealing with. And I believe that. And that's why, but first of all, women, I believe we have to set our own standards. You gotta, whatever your standard is, if that's your level or you feel like, hey, I'm good here, get there and be there. And then when buddy come along, if he can't match you there and then increase something, then he ain't the one. Cause if whatever your level is, wherever you at, if he can't meet you there and add to it, now that's what I know for sure. Like, what, you can't come in my life and don't add to it. I don't care how great you think it is, what I have going on. I need to be able to see that you can do some adding to that. And that does take you to get to a certain level of maturity in life, you know, because once you get there, then you automatically, you can see the ones who, well, I don't care how good you look on the outside, you can't do nothing for me. And that's not even about, that's not financial, that's not none of that. Because he could probably do something financially. Listen, $200 will pay a bill. I don't care what, any kind of money buddy can help you with, he can't. So it's not about that, right? You, at some point, you want somebody to be able to help you with other things. You know what I'm saying? Other things that really mean something that, you know, just could take a headache off of you for that day. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not able to do that, because, you know, he got a million errands to run, he got a million licks to bust, he got a million, you know, kids he got to go pick up from school today, or like, it's just some things, yeah, buddy, like, you just, yeah, you nice, you sweet, you showing love, but for the long term, what I'm gonna do with that? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like, ladies, stay the course. Don't let a person change you or change your essence, you know. And to be honest, and I wrote that in my book, y'all. I don't even mention that often, but I do have a memoir that you can find on Amazon, and it's called Sweeter Than Pineapples. And in that memoir, I say, like, that it was a time when I felt like I wasn't good enough for the good guys, and then I wasn't hood enough for the hood guys. And I feel like that's when I was like in the transition, you know, once I done hopped in to, you know, like the middle of college, and I'm changing as a person, because now I'm seeing like it's other guys you can deal with. Like, you don't have to just only be picking dudes that's in the street. You know what I'm saying? But then some of the guys that you are in school with and around, they ain't really hood guys either. You know what I'm saying? So you like, y'all seem like, cause y'all might be playing sports or something, seem like you got a little roughness, little edge to you. But then you find out that, oh, you got a mama and a daddy. You know what I'm saying? Damn, one of your parents was on drugs. You know, like, so it just, you know, it was a time where I was like, well, dang, you know, because the stuff that I'm still kind of talking about, they don't really know that much about. And I could talk about the little stuff that they want to talk about, but then little stuff that I might, you know, start getting excited about or whatever, they don't know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? And if I took some of these jokers home with me, it'd be like, oh, where you found the L7 at? You know, where you found the little square? You know, like, yeah, you running circles around here, man. You know, so it was just like, it was hard, you know, because when you come from a background where, yeah, you got your own trauma, you got your own story, you got your own stuff going on, you know, and then you meet a person that, when you know, like, they don't have all that going on, you know, they can't even understand that. They can't wrap their mind around some of the stuff that I'm going to tell them about my life. And is that going to be a deal breaker for them? Which I never felt like, hey, if I tell you something and you leave, like, that's going to be a problem. Like, if I tell you something and you can't handle that, then it's best that you leave, because there's probably a whole bunch more that I could tell you. You know what I'm saying? So I never was too much scared about that, but it's just the fact that, you know, you don't know how a person is going to view you in the back of their mind. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, she been through this. Like, how that's going to affect us later. You know, that, you know, you just never really know, you know. But for me, I'm just like, I don't know, transparency is like my thing. So it's like, hey, you can either accept it or you don't have to, because there's plenty who don't mind. You know, that has always been like my train of thought, you know, and how I felt. But yeah, so back to what I was saying, y'all. Be encouraged. Don't let anybody get you off your square. When you know you're solid and you're a good person, build up on that, you know. And I just do believe that at some point, you know, you will meet a person that, you know, matches, you know, they match your fly. That's just what it comes down to. You know, they match you. You know, sometimes opposites can attract, but in the end, it's like they'll attack. Initially, they'll attract because the good guy, he's in, you know, the bad guy, he's intrigued with the fact that you don't run the streets, and, you know, you look so pure, and you don't have that many bodies, and, you know, they're intrigued with you being such a good girl. The same way a good guy could be intrigued with a thug girl. I've seen that too. You know, I've seen, it's like, what in the world, Joker, was you thinking? You know, man, please, you know good well this girl got too much going on for you. You know, that's not your, she is not your lane. But that'll be the kind of girl that he fall head over heels for, even though she is totally out of his lane, you know. And then before you know it, now he trying to do some stuff to match her, feeling like, you know, she really come from dealing with street guys. So now look at you, you done went in, you had perfect white teeth from braces. The years your mama them invested in braces. Now you done went and dropped a 6-pack of golds in your mouth, 12-pack. Like, come on. No. Stay the course of who you are. Stay true to that and build on that. That's the best thing you can do for your life. Stay true to who you are. Make the changes you need to make and go from there. But never try to conform so that you can call yourself, you know, being a better match for somebody. No, you know you're not a match. You know you're not a smoker. You don't have to start smoking just to fit in with him if that's not what you do. You know you're not a drinker. Don't become a drunk trying to hang with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you know you're not the type of guy who spend money crazy. Don't you start blowing your money because she don't have no boundaries when it comes to spending her money, but you're a saver, so you're going to let her blow through your whole savings? Girl, listen, the same with us women. Like, you know you're not into all these extracurricular freaky deaky activities. Don't you start doing that just to please him. Because you'll be ran through and he'll be not ran on. You know, I done said, man, listen, the stories I done heard, I done seen homegirl get mudded out and let dudes mud them out. And the whole time she really liked Buddy, and she thinking Buddy gonna end up being with her. No, he's not. He's never gonna be with you after he done ran a train on you with somebody else. He's not ever gonna love you and take you serious. Ever. He's not. And if he do, you got to question, is he so what classes was he in when he grew up? Cause who would really do that? Yeah. But anyways, y'all have a good one. I know I kind of switched it up today or whatever. I'm getting ready to step out, run a few errands. So I just wanted to do a little different commentary other than sitting in the car or, you know, on the couch or whatever. So yeah, y'all have a good one. Enjoy your day.